Yeah, I mean, everybody had their father-daughter time, but I never really got that, and even my brother, we didn't. Now that you put out your videos, it takes a second for people to just comment and write anything
Hmm.
without even thinking कि क्या thought process होगा, क्या मेहनत होगी, क्या what the person's gone through. They will just in a second ridicule you and reduce you to zero. With my first television job, they forced the name on me. They forced the Lever surname onto my name, and they said, "No, no, we want to know you as John Lever's daughter. Just go इधर इधर हो गया, change हो गया voice हो गया नीचे, वो अलग अलग डांस करते हो उसको सिखाते हैं 5 6 7 8 करके हो गया फिर आ गया डांस."
Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
Welcome to After Us. I have to say that I was excited to have this chat with you because I thought long and hard. And I was like, okay, both of us have one thing in common,
Oh,
which is that when we enter rooms
हाँ,
in our respective trades,
हाँ,
uh, it's very obvious
hmm,
that people tend to know who our dad is.
ah,
And there is
yes,
no escaping that.
yeah,
And it is the reality of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's one
One
connect
thing in
that
common,
I
yes.
have with Jamie. So I want to touch upon that
Mm-hmm.
and start off first by asking you
Yeah.
that, I'd heard in one of your
Hmm,
interviews where you'd said that, of course, your father is a legendary
hmm,
comedian,
hmm,
right? Like,
hmm,
of course, he's the nation's favorite
hmm,
comedian. Um, and he, of course, was working so much that he wasn't really around through your teenage years,
yeah,
like pretty much till your teenage, you said
yeah.
you didn't see much of him.
No, yeah.
Um, what was that like not having him around at that point in time? Did you
Hmm,
miss him?
hmm.
Or do you today feel like it was worth it? Like what is the expense of having a famous, successful father?
So it was, yeah, I mean, everybody had their father-daughter time, but I never really got that. And even my brother, we didn't, because he was shooting for five or sometimes, yeah, 4 or 5 films a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of times he used to be outdoor. He used to be shooting uh, various parts of the world. So we never really saw him. He never really took us to school. He never dropped us to school ever. He wasn't available when we were back from school. So we spent all our time with my mom or my other buas and chachi chacha, whoever there, jo bhi ghar pe hota tha. So it was always like that. And uh, I feel like because we were a big family and we were a joint family at that time, like my chacha would stay with us, my chachi was there, my buas would keep coming over every weekend. So kabhi wo kami महसूस नहीं हुई in a way,
Hmm.
and we never really felt like something was missing. But yes, growing up, we felt like, okay, mom's always the one disciplining us, but then we don't have dad to do, wo laad pyar that daddies do. So
Yeah.
we didn't have that. But he would always try his best to cover up for the time he had lost. So, every time he came home after, let's say, a month of shooting, he would bring us so many gifts. So he was like, I always say I felt like he was the Santa Claus of the family.
Hmm.
Every time he'd come over, he'd have so many chocolates for us and presents. So it was very exciting that daddy is home, but at the same time, there was also this dar that daddy is home because there has to be a build up ke daddy nahi hai, daddy ko bata dungi. This is what mommy used to say,
Hmm.
कि डैडी को बताऊँगी ना डैडी सो डैडी हैड बिकम माय डैड डज़ अ सेट on stage when he does his stand up he says डैडी घर में डाकू बन गया है it was literally like that डैडी घर में डॉन था and we he had no idea
Dawn and
because
Santa Claus दोनों
yes
एक साथ.
दोनों हाँ
हाँ.
because happy feeling also but वो डर भी था because we didn't really know how daddy was
Yeah.
but and we missed having not having him
Yeah.
around but I feel like when we started going to college. He realized that he really needs to be present. He didn't know his children. He didn't. We never really had long chats with him. We never discussed anything, our likes, dislikes. वो सब time ही नहीं मिला.
Hmm.
So when we went to college, he's reduced the amount of work that he did. He was being very selective about his jobs, his movies. He was like, I can now take it easy. Well, back in the day, he had the responsibility of his own family, but many other families that he was supporting. So he had a lot to do to make sure we were comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, when we went to college, he was like, Abhi theek hai. I can
Hmm.
take it easy. I need to spend time with my kids. So then he would sometimes, just drive us here and there and sit with us in the gadi. And then now he makes sure ki har subah we sit, we have breakfast together. If he's home, then he gives us like 1 hour or 2 hours of he just talks to us and just tells us, about his experiences and, kahaniya from his past, struggle days, all of those things. But yeah, he feels it more. Ke I should be around my kids, you know, I want to give them time.
Hmm.
तो वो एक चीज़ है। So I won't complain because I feel like everything that I've lost, I have gained in double right now,
Yeah.
and more. So I'm very happy about that.
Is it fair to say that Daku has now become friend?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. He has become a friend, also a boss to me
Hmm.
because we work together and I've toured with him. I'm a part of his Johnny Lever live crew and cast. So we've done 250 plus shows together worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, so I feel like I see him in the boss role more often than
Yeah.
a dad role and a friend role because we're constantly discussing work and that's how we bond also.
Hmm.
We're discussing either my previous work or his work, his experiences being on set or his experience working with certain directors. And it's also exciting for me when he comes back from shoot now, even recently, now he's shooting for Welcome. So when he comes back from work, I'm really excited to know कि आज set पे क्या हुआ.
Hmm.
So that really drives our conversations. I'm always asking him, Daddy, आज क्या किया आपने? आज का क्या difficult part था of the day? Or how did the director instruct you? And we've bonded because of that. We've gotten so much more closer because I'm seeing him as a dad, like how he is, just loving and caring around us. But at the same time, he's like been like a mentor to me and he's guiding me in my journey of being a stand-up comic and an actor.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. But yes, as a boss, also he is very scary and he's very strict and extremely like he's a perfectionist. So it's
Yeah.
very hard to work with him. He is not easily impressed.
Also, he's worked for so long. I think he's
Yeah.
had the longest tenure as a comedian that
Oh
I
yeah.
know of.
Some almost he's touching 50 years now on
Yeah.
stage.
So that is commendable. So to
Mm.
have survived for that long and still be relevant,
Yeah.
of course he's great at what he does. So
Yeah.
he perhaps expects that also.
Yeah, definitely. He's not easy on me one bit.
Hmm.
I remember when we had started doing, so I started doing television and I was already sort of people started knowing me and they're like, okay, she does her mimicries and impersonations. So people were appreciating my work. And that's when he felt, कि chalo, I can have her a part of my team for
Hmm.
my tour now. ऐसे ही नहीं ले लिया मुझे, हाँ. He was
Hmm.
like, okay, she has some credibility,
Huh.
so I'll take her.
She has to deserve it.
हाँ, she absolutely has to deserve it. So he was like, okay, तू भी थोड़ी सी famous हो रही है, so I'll have you on my team now. You can be the third comic. So I was a filler item in
Hmm.
a way. So after in his show interval के बाद there was a slot for 15 minutes. So he used to give me that. He had given me that 15-minute slot. Um, so initially when I started performing, he just didn't let me go on stage ऐसे ही. Like he saw what I wanted was it what I was going to do.
The set that you
Yes,
had
the
created.
entire set. He asked me to perform in front of him, and yeah, matlab he has been really tough.
He's been a
Oh yeah,
taskmaster.
He's not laughed, and he's really criticized my set left, right, center. He's uh, completely broken my confidence down, and
Oh
I've
wow.
questioned myself कि मैंने क्या कर लिया है? Have I done the right thing by getting into this field? I've really questioned. I've cried. I've had those very tough moments. My mom has been there for me, but it's okay, you know, you'll be fine. She supported me through all of that. But he knew how tough this is. He knows how tough it is. And he just wanted me to have like a strong backbone
Hmm.
and, you know, just
Build
know the
that
game.
shield of armor
Absolutely.
basically.
Yeah. Build that
Also
shield.
because
Yeah.
people are brutal. मतलब जनता especially when it comes to stage performances,
Hmm.
कॉन्फिडेंस तो वो भी बहुत ब्रेक करती है.
Yeah,
इतने
yeah,
लोग
yeah.
हैकल करते हैं,
People
इतनी
heckle
लोग
karte hain and
कुछ भी लिखते हैं बाद में, शो देखने के
absolutely.
बाद
And
उनको
now,
पता ही नहीं कि कितनी मेहनत लगी है करने में.
right, and now that you put out your videos, it takes a second for people to just comment and write anything
Hmm.
without even thinking कि क्या thought process होगा, क्या मेहनत होगी, क्या what the person's gone through. They will just in a second ridicule you and reduce you to zero.
आप
So,
पढ़ते हो कमेंट्स?
uh, I do, but कई बार ना मुझे लोगों की immaturity दिखती है.
Hmm.
And then I feel like, hi, इस पे क्यों time waste करूँ यार? And then
Hmm.
I heard Prajakta Kohli saying in one of her interviews, she said, I read these trolls and I'm like, no, you don't deserve to be here. So
Hmm.
go and don't upset me. और मेरा दिमाग खराब करने की आपके पास इजाजत नहीं है. You don't have the permission, so you don't deserve to be here. And I think she deletes them or something. And I was like, yeah, that's the attitude one must have.
Yeah, I
Because no,
agree.
I've worked hard, and it's not like I'm just doing anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's some hard work that's gone behind all of
अरे
this.
हार्ड वर्क में मतलब you're such a fabulous
Thank
dancer.
you.
You sing, of course, your
And
great at mimicry, वो तो सबको पता ही है.
there's training behind it. I have learned Hindustan classical. I have taken many dance classes. I've learned jazz, learned hip hop, Bharatnatyam, belly dancing, and I keep learning every day. Even at this age, I'm taking up classes and workshops. So मैं ऐसे ही कुछ नहीं कर रही हूँ कैमरा ऑन करके. There's
Correct.
some training behind it, some thought.
But I think वो ही होता है ना कि when you come from a certain legacy, like your surname carries a weight to
Yeah.
it,
Hmm.
which is perhaps why you didn't use it initially, and we'll
Hmm.
get to that
Yeah.
part. But I wanted to ask you, Jamie, that do you bear the burden of legacy?
Hmm.
What does it mean to you?
So I initially did not want to be known as a lever kid at
Hmm.
all. I went by the name Jamie J when I started doing comedy, stand up. I was performing at the clubs and I said, no, I want to be known as Jamie J. I do not relate to this name, Lever. There's a backstory for it. My dad has history behind it as to why he called himself Johnny Lever. There's a story. Everybody knows that he worked at Hindustan Lever, and
Correct.
that's how the name happened. So उससे तो मेरा कोई लेना देना है नहीं. I mean, that story has got nothing to do with me. It made him something.
Yeah.
Why should I just take the name and just add it? And
Hmm.
what is it going to do for me? Um, so
But
I
it
was
can
like,
open a lot of doors for you.
it
That's what it would do for
it
you, right?
could have, yeah, but I said no. I do not want to live in my dad's shadows.
Hmm.
I want to have my own identity. I want to be known for what I can do, and I was very sure about that from the very beginning. So I
Hmm.
was like, it's okay, even if I have to start as an outsider, I will do it. The struggles are greater, perhaps, which were great anyhow, whether I was his daughter or not. मेरे लिए कोई different नहीं था. But I was like, नहीं मुझे नहीं लेना है ये. It's too much work.
Hmm.
It's too many expectations, too much judgment. But with my first television job, they forced the name on me.
Hmm.
They forced the Lever surname onto my name, and they said, no, we want to know you as John Lever's daughter. We want that
Hmm.
Lever. ऐसे थोड़ी होगा. आप क्या जनुमाला बुलाएंगे अपने आप को? Why you want this J?
Hmm.
No, we're gonna introduce you as John Lever's daughter, and we want that. So I said, okay. Now, I think my dad and my uncle just were prepared that there will be a lot of expectations because people are going to know now. The newspapers are going to tell that okay, she's been launched in this
Correct.
show on television, and everybody's going to
And a very
know.
popular one, so obviously.
Yes, so people will know. So they made sure that मेरी training sahi hai. They were very tough on me, like everything I did. I had my dad made sure that I had Hindi and Urdu classes.
Hmm.
He made sure I went to singing classes, and he made sure. And one would wonder why do you do all of this if you're doing comedy? But no, everything has come in handy now because I'm using my singing skills. If when I'm mimicking Asha ji or I'm mimicking any other
Correct.
singer, I'm using my singing skills. I'm using my dancing skills when I'm dancing, maybe like Karan Johar ji,
Yeah.
or like Madhuri ji. I'm using all that training. So it's coming. It's helpful for me. So my dad made sure that I was going through all of this, and he was making sure that even when I was doing my scripts and when I was doing my stand-up sets, I had to rehearse in front of them for hours,
Hmm.
and they would constantly keep, like checking कि ये नहीं ये ठीक नहीं है ऐसे नहीं करो वैसे नहीं करो.
I think
So
probably उनको प्रोटेक्ट करना था ना बिकॉज़ दे न्यू कि
exactly,
लोग
exactly.
काफ़ी अनकाइंड हो सकते हैं और स्पेशली जिनके पेरेंट्स ऑलरेडी बहुत सक्सेसफुल होते हैं,
Hmm.
उनसे एक्सपेक्टेशन हमेशा
हाँ,
ज़्यादा ही रहती है।
like I always say, my dad's floor is my ceiling.
हुँ,
मुझे वहाँ से स्टार्ट करना है। सो मेरी तैयारी भी उतनी होनी चाहिए। मतलब
हुँ,
मेरी मैच्योरिटी एंड माय तैयारी शुड बी दैट मच।
या
सो आई हैव मेड श्योर दैट आई एम वेल इक्विप्ड, व्हेन आई गो आउट इन द वर्ल्ड एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई डिड। नाउ पीपल सी मी एंड दे अप्रिशिएट मी फॉर इट।
ऑफ कोर्स
या
राइटली सो
या
एज़ इट ऑट टू बी।
हुँ,
इन आई हर्ड इन वन ऑफ योर इंटरव्यूज़ दैट यू सेड कि स्टेज पे जब आप परफॉर्म कर रहे
हुँ,
थे, किसी ने ऑडियंस से बोला एंड आई थिंक यू वर टूरिंग विथ योर डैड एट
या
दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम।
या
किसी ने बोला कि मोर के बच्चे को नाचना थोड़ी सिखाना होता है, उसको
या
आता है,
या या
राइट? As a part of that, what do you think you picked up just growing up in that home,
हुँ,
which is so advantageous today? कि naturally आता है एकदम.
yeah, like I did not know that I had this knack of mimicking people. I did not
Hmm.
know that I had this skill. But I think every time we'd switch on the TV or even when I went to school, I would just naturally come home and talk like my teacher. This is my teacher said, asked me to do this homework. But it was not like ऐसे ही communicate करना. I would act like, my teacher. And my teacher said, Jamie, you have to finish your homework. पूरा mimic करके पूरा वो situation create करके बताती थी.
Hmm.
So my parents knew instantly. अच्छा ये. My
कुछ
dad
तो
says,
जा रहा है इधर इस
हाँ.
डायरेक्शन में.
My dad says इसमें कीटाणु थे. कीटाणु थे. So they knew it. And also growing up when we watched television, I would just dance like the actresses and try to copy. And then even Asha ji का एक गाना था, Mr. Naidu गिर मत जाना. She had done a remix version of that, and there was a music video that was out. It was playing on MTV, and I was so impressed by it, so wowed by it, that I just wanted to like copy her style, the way she danced, the way she made her face, or the way she did the singing, and very naturally I was just doing it. I didn't realize कि अच्छा इसको मिमिक्री बोलते हैं, ये
Hmm.
होती है मिमिक्री. And then धीरे धीरे करते करते for work, obviously we had to do it, like it was a part of the job. When I did Comedy Circus, they asked me, my director said, make me a list of all the actors you can mimic. And
Hmm.
that's when I actually started working on it. Oh, let me try and mimic Sri Devi ji. How does she talk? हाँ मैं ऐसे बात करती हूँ तो चलो इंग्लिश में वो मैंने वहां से किया. फिर कुछ I was just copying people. And Farah Khan also just happened, just
That
so
is
happened.
so iconic. I cannot get over it. Once reels, how ऐसे you're scrolling, कुछ background में चल रहा होता है,
Yeah.
and I think you did a bit.
Hmm.
And I kid you not, I realized it was you much later. I actually thought it
Yeah,
was her.
yeah.
I was like, has my explore page just shown Farah Khan?
That just happened on the job. Like
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can do this voice. It's easy to do. Just go इधर इधर हो गया, change हो गया voice हो गया नीचे. और अलग अलग डांस करते हो उसको सिखाते हैं 5 6 7 8 करके हो गया फिर आ गया डांस. So and the lisp.
Yeah.
So I just picked up these things. I would pick up mannerisms. I was so naturally I was picking up these things, and I did not know, but I guess this has obviously come. This is my DNA.
It's what you absorb also from
Yeah,
your environment.
yeah, yeah.
DNA plus nature plus nurture, na?
Yeah, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल, it is
Yeah.
that. So ये था, and then my dad noticed that we had similar like skills,
Hmm.
like of doing accents and doing mimicries or doing characters, which also we are now realizing कि बहुत सारी similarities हैं. Now recently, now that I started touring with my own shows, this friend of mine, he came to watch my show and he said, Jamie, the last time I laughed like this was when I watched your dad shows 20 years ago
Hmm.
at so and so place. You just took me back to that memory because you reminded me so much of his style of comedy. So we are very similar like that.
Hmm.
So हाँ, I feel like yes, वो चीजें naturally acquired हुई हैं, and then obviously I worked on it.
You've built that skill
I've built
further.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But मैंने बहुत सोचा है जैसे for example right now I'm looking at your face,
Hmm.
of course
So animated.
I know, like of course I see your dad's face in you, right? And people say that about me, that I look a lot like my
Yeah.
mom, or maybe I laugh like my dad, or
Hmm.
so much I feel is what we inherit or
Hmm.
what we're born with,
Yeah.
that it makes me wonder कि फिर मेरा क्या है इसमें? What
हाँ.
is it that is truly and innately mine?
Yep.
So in this entire sort of process of recognizing what your style is, how
Mhm.
you're going to be doing your comedy,
Hmm.
what is uniquely Jamie?
So I'll tell you. I think the one thing that is unique is the way I sing. I add singing to my musicals, my comedy set,
Hmm.
which is so I have training. I've learned Hindustan classical for many years.
High five.
Oh, excellent. And because my dad loves music and he loved listening to ghazals and just world music. And the minute he realized at a very young age that I could sing sur or tal mein, he was like, no, this you have to work on this.
Yeah.
So he put me in singing classes. So we had Guruji coming over and I learned proper सीखा मैंने. और now that really comes in handy, like let's say when I'm mimicking Asha ji,
Hmm.
so I sing her songs sur में.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
है ना. एंड वो चीज बहुत ही वाव मोमेंट क्रिएट करता है ऑन स्टेज. A lot of singers have called me to say, when you mimic her, okay, but you sing like her and you're
Yeah.
singing sur mein, even when the music is not there.
Yeah.
You're doing like an a cappella, and the atmosphere changes. And I add that to my stand up set. मतलब हंसा रही हूँ मैं लोगों को, but I'm singing.
Hmm.
and it just people are so like they're mesmerized. That's the
Hmm.
feedback I've gotten. They're
Hmm.
like, oh my god, Jamie, when you
I
sing,
I'm definitely coming for one of your shows.
please do.
Whenever there's one in Delhi,
Please do. Yes,
I'm
please
coming.
do.
Yeah.
So I think that is the unique thing that I bring in my performances, which even my dad feels like, यार ये कुछ अलग है.
ये मैं नहीं कर सकता
ये
था.
मैं नहीं कर सकता. Yeah, he sings and he loves singing.
Yeah.
So that's why he also forced me. He's like, "ये अपनी singing को use करना.
Hmm.
वो मत भूलना. That is very important. You
Hmm.
bring that, and I'm telling you,
Also, I don't
it
know
will work."
anybody else who can do that.
Hmm.
I don't know any other comic who's also a really good singer.
But Sugandha Mishra is.
Hmm.
She does. She
Yes.
impersonates and she
True.
sings, but I think hers is more singing,
Yeah.
maybe less
Fair.
comedy, more
Agree.
singing. And
Yeah.
she because she's in fact she also participated in
In
one
a
of the,
competition.
yes, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
maybe like
One of the
one
reality
of the
shows.
singing
Yeah, yeah,
reality
yeah.
shows. She was a part of it
Yeah.
as a contestant. So and she, I think her parents are
Yeah.
सीखे हुए singers, so professional singers. तो वो है, but मेरा is like I can do comedy and I will make you laugh
तब मैं
also.
बोल रही हूँ ना, a comedian who can sing really
हाँ.
well, I don't know anybody else.
Hmm.
You
So
know?
I think ये मेरा है.
हाँ.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
in
I
all of this,
agree.
ये एक मेरी एक चीज है जो मैं
हाँ.
डालती
That's very, very fair and
हूँ. Yeah.
very well said. Acha, I want to go to the time that you started, and you know, I know you've already spoken about when you told your parents you were in London. I was
Yeah.
also in London. See, I'm
Woo!
telling you, we're dressed similarly.
Oh
We
my
have too
God.
much in common. But you know, when you told your dad, and he was just like,
Yeah.
you know, okay,
He really wasn't expecting it.
yeah.
He was just so shocked.
Why did we spend so much money on your education?
Exactly. He was like, what did I do? I spent lakhs on your education. This is what you're going to hit me with?
Yeah. But then let us circle back to when you started auditioning and when you said, no, I don't want Papa's surname
Yeah.
and I want to carve my own identity.
Yeah.
And you started, you know, working in the clubs as Jimmy J. Tell us a little about that phase.
Yeah.
What was that like? क्योंकि on one hand, one can assume कि यार you're Johnny Lever's daughter कितना ही आसान होएगा. But on the other hand, I think you chose to do it very differently.
I did.
So,
And
so
that's why I
tell us a
think
little about that.
maybe that's why it's taken me longer, you
Hmm.
know, and it's taken me now 10 years, 12 years to get to where I am today. People know me for my work.
Yeah.
I'm proud of my journey. So when I went to London, I came back and I told my dad in London itself when he came for my convocation that this is what I want to do. He was like, "अरे क्या हो गया है?" So he said, "ये फिर इतना सब क्यों किया? What is all of this?"
Hmm.
And then he said, "Okay," but because he realized that कुछ तो इसने सोचा होगा, कुछ तो thinking की
Hmm.
होगी, and somehow she's gathered the courage to tell me because I'm very fearful of my dad. I respect him a lot, and I was very scared to tell him, you know, anything dil se. So he realized ki, okay, she's done a lot of thinking behind this. And he said, okay, figure it out. I came back to India. I spoke to him. I said, Daddy, I want to start now with comedy. What do I do? He said, देखो तुम ढूंढो, तुम कुछ करो, रास्ता निकालो. And I called my juniors who I went to college with in Mumbai. They had started doing stand up. So Sapan Verma
Of course.
and Sahil, and
Hmm.
these guys were just kind of picking up in,
Who would have like
yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that Jamie Lever
Yeah.
would need to
I,
reach out to Sapan
I
Verma?
did not know what to do.
Yeah.
Sapan was doing stand up and he was really becoming popular at that time.
Yeah.
And I thought, let me just ask him, kaise karna hai? And I called Sapan and he started laughing. He's like, Jimmy, why are you asking me?
Yeah.
I said, no, Sapan, I really don't know how to go about this. And he said, okay, you know, you can get an open mic spot at so and so club, and that's how you can try out. Then I called another friend of mine who was also from the film family, and Rikin, his name is my junior again. He was also trying out in the movies.
ये कौन सा कॉलेज है जिसमें सारे जूनियर्स कॉमेडी कर रहे हैं?
Somehow, I don't know, मतलब सबको था कुछ, किसी को
हाँ.
एक्टर बनना था. I was doing BMM, mass media.
हाँ, okay, fair.
So
Now
that's
that's
why. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
self-explanatory. Yeah.
So सभी कोई creative थे. So I remember Rikin gave me like a list of casting directors' email addresses and phone numbers. And he said you can call them, email them your portfolio, and you know, get some photographs clicked. So this is, I asked people how to do this. My dad did not tell me anything.
Hmm.
In fact, also how my dad started his career was very different. He was introduced to the movies by Kalyanji Anandji. That's how he got his first film gig.
Yeah.
So he also didn't know कि portfolio बनाना होता है या casting directors होते हैं. So this is a very new thing for him.
वो era ही अलग था ना?
हाँ,
Hmm.
उस टाइम पे मतलब लोग इंट्रोड्यूस कराते थे, अच्छा इससे करा लो, ये स्टेज पे करता है, ये कर
हुँ,
लेगा मिमिक्री।
हुँ,
दैट्स हाउ ही गॉट हिज फर्स्ट एक्टिंग जॉब आल्सो।
हुँ,
तो सो ही वाज लाइक, "वो ढूँढो तुम।" एंड आई फील लाइक माय डैड समवेयर हैड द कॉन्फिडेंस दैट शी विल फिगर इट आउट,
she'll crack it.
she'll crack it, because
हुँ,
he knew that ये मेहनती है and she's not really dependent on me so much.
हुँ।
You know, I think he saw me kind of like that.
मैं पूछने वाली थी कि व्हाई डू यू थिंक कि ही वाज़ लाइक तुम अपने आप ही देखो?
I feel like he just knew she would be able to
हुँ,
handle it.
हुँ।
That's how that's what I feel right now
ऑल्सो
thinking of it.
ऑल्सो आई फील लाइक आई थिंक कि जितना मैंने सुना है,
Yeah,
द इंडस्ट्री कैन बी क्वाइट अ हार्श
yeah.
प्लेस टू मैन्यूवर योर वे
Oh yeah.
थ्रू। तो आई थिंक मेबी वन रीज़न व्हाई सो मेनी टाइम्स नॉट जस्ट इन दिस इंडस्ट्री इन जनरल पेरेंट्स आर लाइक कि
Hmm.
ये करना सीख जाओगे तो हो जाएगा बाद में।
Yeah, and I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe he thought कि ये try करेगी, she'll give up and then she'll come to know कि she's not meant for this.
हुँ,
But I really fought through it.
या
I really fought through. I asked for help. I did my haath pair marna. I have made calls to casting directors. I've asked people for appointments. I have gone back and forth to, even to meet Shanu Sharma. I've struggled to meet her. And
हुँ।
that too, not, I didn't ask my dad to get me her contact. I have contacted someone from college who I knew was assisting her at the moment, who was her third or fourth assistant.
ये कॉलेज तो बहुत ही बढ़िया
हाँ, मेरा
निकला
कॉलेज
मतलब।
बहुत ही बेस्ट है। So, yeah, and they have helped me get me a meeting with her, and I've met her गाड़ी में, because
हुँ,
she's super busy. So we
हुँ,
had a meeting in the car. She's like, "Jimmy, this is how I'm gonna do my meetings. I'm going लोखंडवाला से जुहू तक. आप
राइड
बैठ
विद
के
मी।
मेरे से बात करो, ride with me." And
हुँ,
that's how I did my first meeting with her. She asked me to audition. I've gone into a room where there were 30, 40 girls
हुँ।
who were asked to wear the same outfit. And I was there. I did that audition like that. I've met with so many casting directors who I asked for work and then nahi hua tabhi.
पर क्या फीलिंग आती है क्योंकि व्हेन यू एंटर रूम्स विद योर डैड तो जैसे लोग आपको रिसीव करते हैं वो कितना अलग होता है
Huh.
एंड नाउ यू आर अ पार्ट ऑफ लेट्स से 40 पीपल हु आर
Yeah,
ड्रेस्ड इन द सेम
yeah,
क्लोथ्स
yeah.
हाउ डज दैट फील एकदम से मतलब
I
ऐसे
think I had to really just put my ego aside.
हम्म
You know that growing up, I had that privilege. Na, I went on movie sets.
हम्म
I went and I was treated very nicely.
हम्म
Oh, Johnny जी की बेटी है, बेटा you want something? I sat with big actors. We had कितने सारे actors तो घर आते थे to meet my dad.
शाहरुख सर इन इंटरव्यू हिज फेवरेट co-star इज योर डैड
Yeah,
तो
yeah,
मतलब
yeah. मैं ज़्यादा मूवी सेट्स पर नहीं गई हूँ, very
हाँ
less. I really honestly didn't enjoy it so much.
हम्म
But जितने भी in movie sets पे गए हैं या whatever stage or wherever I've been, we were treated very nicely with a lot of respect and love, and we got all that
हम्म
attention. And then cut to
कट टू
here I
मतलब
am, like
हाँ
real life struggles,
हाँ
and I had to really forget. Okay, ठीक है, I am Johnny Lever's daughter, and people might think that things are easy for us being a celebrity kid or star kid. Nahi, it's not like that. Not,
हम्म
I feel like उसमें भी in the industry there is also favoritism. Nepotism अलग है, favoritism है. तो वो
वेरी
एक
वेल
चीज़ है.
सेड
Yeah.
ये काफी लोग बोलते हैं ये
हुँ,
मतलब अमंग्स कॉन्वर्सेशंस दैट आई हैड 2-3 चीजें काफी प्रोमिनेंट
हुँ,
आती है एक तो फेवरेटिज्म एक तो पे गैप
हुँ.
ये
Yeah.
सब
No, but hair true because maybe because my dad did not go for filmy parties
हम्म
and we didn't. My dad treated work like work. He went to work, he came back home, he was very normal at home, very
हम्म
typical South Indian घर में
हम्म
रहना, very typical, like we had a very middle class kind of a simple upbringing.
हम्म
Nothing special.
हम्म
Because his was a rags to riches story ना, तो उनकी upbringing तो वही है, simple life.
हम्म
So he went to work, he finished that, came home, वैसा ही था. We never went for parties, we never really hung out with other
तो फिर
star
कैसे
kids.
मिलते
No.
उन सब लोगों
कैसे
से
होते उस कम वो सर्कल ही नहीं था हमारा,
हम्म
टू बी गिवन अ चांस और टू बी अराउंड दोज पीपल, उठना बैठना था ही नहीं.
हम्म
So I had to really figure it out, and now
हसल
hustle big time. And now people know me because of my work.
या
So the other day I went for an event, and a lot of actors just came over and they're like, Jamie, we love your videos. We go back, we watch your videos, and I'm just like so surprised. I had Karina Kapoor spoke about me on one of her podcasts, and she said, "Oh, Jamie mimics me, and I love the girl, and she's so good." I'm just so like
या
wowed by that. Like,
ऑफ
oh
कोर्स
wow, like ye bhi hai.
एंड एग्जैक्टली दे नो यू फॉर यू
Yes,
एंड सो यू गॉटन एग्जैक्टली वेयर यू वांटेड टू बी
yeah,
यू
yeah.
नो कि
It's been tough, but like
हाँ
I'm so happy. I'm so proud of my journey. Like I said,
आई वाज थिंकिंग कि growing up, of course, through your 20s, as you're working in the clubs, you're
Yeah,
working your way up,
yeah,
honing your craft.
yeah.
When you were dating, were there ever boys who were just like, oh, can I meet your dad? Like too soon, जैसे लड़कों को अभी मिलना नहीं होता किसी के पेरेंट्स से.
Yeah.
But of course, जॉनी लीवर से मिलने
Uh,
के लिए किसी ने बोला कि
See, but like I have like normal dad stories now to tell them. So I feel like they don't see him as the Johnny Lever. For them,
ah,
it's like okay, Jamie's dad. So
hmm,
I have very different stories to tell कि अच्छा डैड ने आज मुझे डांटा इसके लिए और डैड ने आज मुझे उसके लिए क्रिटिसाइज किया या ये मैंने ठीक से नहीं किया and he's told me you need to work on this and I'm really upset about that or whatever. So the stories are different. But yes, I feel like a lot of times I can't trust people. I feel like sometimes they want to be friends with me thinking that, okay, she comes from a cool family or her dad is so cool and he must be so funny and घर पे क्या cool माहौल होगा और they must be joking all the time and I sometimes it makes makes things worse, you know, for me, like if
hmm,
when I have to make friends or whatever, like I feel
hmm.
like
You're a bit guarded.
I'm a little guarded. Yeah,
Hmm,
I have to really like watch out कि really genuinely wants to be a friend क्योंकि दे लाइक मी एज़ अ पर्सन कि ऐसा कुछ है कि दे फील कि माय डैड इज़ कूल।
hmm.
तो हाँ, वो एक अलग चीज़ है,
अब वो आई थिंक कि एनी पर्सन हू
राइट?
सक्सेसफुल उसको एक थोड़ा-सा ये तो आ ही जाता है
हाँ,
कि व्हाई डू दे वांट टू बी फ्रेंड्स विथ मी?
हाँ,
कि व्हाट पर्पस डू आई सर्व
या,
इफ एट ऑल?
या,
एंड कितनी बार इट कैन बी हार्मलेस, एक्चुअली उनको सिर्फ आप ही पसंद हो,
हाँ,
बट
yeah, but
या.
like for me, my mind is always like thinking about that one thing.
हुँ,
But at the same time, I feel like we're actually very simple and very like emotional people. I
हुँ,
am.
हुँ,
Like my image
हुँ.
on screen, someone might think, अरे क्या मस्त बंदी है, ये फन होगी या
मतलब
ये
मुझे
कॉन्फिडेंट
इंस्टाग्राम पे
है।
ऐसे देख के लगा कि मुझे जेमी के साथ पार्टी करनी है.
Huh.
ऐसी
That's the
वाइब
vibe.
मुझे आई.
Yeah, that's
हाँ,
the vibe people
हाँ.
get. But yeah, I know like my close friends who know me, they know I'm a very like I can be very emotional.
हुँ,
I can be very like I have my struggles. I have my days where I struggle with, you know, just I'm my insecurities and I worry about my appearance sometimes. I
हुँ,
worry about my future sometimes. And I'm in my head a lot of times.
हुँ,
I battle with that.
हुँ,
So they know me and they know कि मेरी क्या लाइफ है
हुँ,
डीप डाउन इनसाइड तो वो एक चीज है सो आई फील लाइक ये डिफरेंस है एंड पीपल डोंट डोंट नो दैट
हुँ. व्हाट आर योर ग्रेटेस्ट इनसिक्योरिटीज़?
सो आई टेल यू ग्रोइंग अप आई वाज टोल्ड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स अबाउट माय बॉडी एंड अबाउट माय फेस
हुँ,
योर नोज इज टू बिग योर
हुँ,
forehead is too big
हुँ,
you're a pear shaped body so cover up you
हुँ.
know wear don't wear these kind of clothes wear those kind of clothes
तो
and I was
लड़कियों को
also
इतना बॉडी शेम करते हैं ना, मुझे
अरे फुल
समझ
ऑन
ही नहीं
और ये
आती.
नॉर्मल है हाँ घरों
हाँ.
में तो इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल तो एंड आई वाज आल्सो ओवरवेट एट द टाइम so my confidence was zero growing up. I never saw myself as a beautiful girl. And I'm only learning to accept myself now, only learning to just be confident in my skin now. It's taken me a while, you know, and I feel like when people see me, they see this confident girl, and I'm deep down inside, I'm not there yet,
हुँ.
you know, but I'm slowly getting there.
वाओ, दैट्स very, very nice of you to share, because I think
Hmm.
that people who will watch this will relate to it.
Yeah.
Because one almost assumes कि अगर आप कैमरा पे हो तो आप में तो कितना ही कॉन्फिडेंस
Hmm.
होगा ना, कि कितने लोग आपको एडमायर करते हैं, मिलियंस में फॉलोअर्स हैं, वो आपको कितना कुछ बोलते होंगे, अरे
Yeah.
आप कितने कूल हो, बट अंदर से आपका इंटरनल बैटल ओनली यू नो.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every time you're coming on screen, you're worried about is my makeup okay? Is my hair okay? What are people going to say about these outfits? And is this looking bad? और ये बाहर निकल रहा है, वो टड़ंग निकल रहा है, ये टड़ंग निकल रहा है. You know, मेरा आर्म कैसा लग रहा है? And all those things. So it's a lot to think about.
हम्म.
Sometimes I don't want to be worried about all of that, and I've started to now just focus on my craft
या.
and just work on my strengths
हम्म.
and forget about everything. But then I realized that as an artist,
इट्स
you have to,
इनएविटेबल.
yeah, everything is important.
या.
Everything has to be taken care of. And because people will say what they have to say eventually.
On
They
the
will say,
days that you don't derive your self confidence,
"Mm,
let's say from how you're looking, कि
yeah,
ये कुछ ऐसे फोटो में आ गया,
हाँ,
अच्छा नहीं लगा,
हाँ,
यहाँ मेकअप अच्छा नहीं लगा,
हाँ,
यहाँ पे मेरा मूड ही अच्छा नहीं था तो
हाँ.
अच्छा नहीं लगा. Then what do you derive your self confidence from to just show up? कि I will do it nonetheless.
Uh, you know, then I just have to remind myself कि yes, I am different. I'm unique. and I know that what I can do, कोई और नहीं कर सकता. I have
Hmm.
to remind myself that. And a lot of times, you know what? That fake it till you make it wala concept works. You have to fake that confidence. You have to just be like, yeah,
ये बहुत आर्टिस्ट ने बोला
अरे
है.
but it is true.
Hmm.
You know, before going on stage, हमारी क्या हालत होती है? You're a nervous wreck. There's so much pressure, firstly, to memorize your jokes, the content that you have. Now I'm performing for 2 hours. 2 घंटे का सामान सर पे है. And then the audience is new. वो क्या सोचेंगे? सामने कौन बैठा है? कोई वीआईपीज़ बैठे हैं, उनको केटर करना है. आपकी फैमिली है, उनको डिसअपॉइंट नहीं करना. आपके फ्रेंड्स भी आए हों आपको देखने के लिए, वो क्या सोचेंगे? यू हैव टू मेक देम प्राउड.
Hmm.
And then the general audiences, your followers who've been following you on Instagram, who've been following your journey, they've come with different expectations. Then your dad's fans who've come with different expectations. So just imagine all these voices in your head,
Yeah.
and you have to just somewhere find that moment where you feel like, yes, I'm the boss, I'm going to kill it. How do you do that? You
Hmm.
have to fake it. कोई option ही नहीं है. So I'm just like doing power poses before I go on stage. Literally, that's my mantra. I do power poses. I stand like that. I stand like this, and this is where I saw a lot of TED Talk videos because I said, how will that come?
Yeah.
How will I embody that? बस ये सब करती रहती हूँ. And then now finally I feel like now I know I've proved myself now. So I feel like, yeah, I just have to carry that confidence with me. I've
Hmm.
done it. I've nailed
You have
it
a
once.
reference point ना कि
I have a
अभी
reference point.
एक
Yes.
बारी ये
हो
पूरा
चुका.
ऑडिटोरियम
हाँ.
ने बजाई ताली
हाँ,
तो
अब स्टैंडिंग ओवेशन मिल चुका है, अच्छे कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स मिले हैं, पीपल लव यू फॉर व्हाट यू डू, एंड देन यू जस्ट गो बैक टू दैट मेमोरी, एंड देन यू कम बैक विद दैट कॉन्फिडेंस.
ऑल्सो कॉमेडी में मतलब हर सेकंड बहुत मैटर करता है
या
ना
या
कि आपकी एक लाफ मिस हो गई तो टू कैच अप टू दैट बिकॉज मैं बहुत लाइव शोज देखती हूँ
हुँ,
एंड आई एम always very impressed with this craft in
या,
particular because it's so minute.
या,
You know, it's like every pause where you have to wait till somebody laughs or
या,
claps is important to the entire
एब्सोल्युटली.
scheme of things.
Somebody was saying, I remember someone invited me, they were inviting me for a show and they said, "आके बस 5 मिनट बोल देना." तो 5 मिनट बोल देना नहीं होता है, इट इज़ वेरी टफ. वो 5 मिनट फॉर अ कॉमिक, वी नो द उसका भार क्या है. वो 5 मिनट इज़ भारी फॉर अस, इट्स
Hmm.
वेरी हेवी, लाइक वी हैव टू, you if 5 minutes में you cannot bring the house down, then
Yeah.
गए आप.
Hmm.
So that those 5 minutes matter, each second matters, like you said.
Hmm.
It's a very difficult job.
मैंने कहीं आपके इंटरव्यू में देखा था that you had started off I think doing comedy in English
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you kind of felt कि
Yeah,
maybe this
this
is
is
not
not
my
my zone.
zone,
Yeah.
you know, so tell us a little about discovering what
Yeah.
your zone was.
Yeah. So it's changed over the years. I've evolved quite a bit and realized, who I am and what my voice is. And initially, when you hear other comics, you see other comics, you see what's going on. When I started off, there were a lot of these young people from my college. Tanmay was there, Sapan, all these guys, and the style was very like
Hmm.
English stand up ki tarah, just stand, say jokes, be witty, sarcastic, self deprecative humor, insult comedy, sometimes below the belt. So this kind of stuff was going on. And sometimes you feel like, हाँ यार ये आजकल का vibe है.
Hmm.
This is what everybody is doing, and this
This
is
is what
how,
is palatable.
yeah, and
Hmm.
this works. So I was also kind of like, okay, maybe I should go into this zone. And it's simple to just follow na the trend,
Hmm.
just bheed mein. So I said, let me try this. So I started doing English, and it really didn't feel natural at all. Like it felt like I was just being something, trying to be someone, and trying to copy somebody. And I was like, no, this is not me. And it failed also,
Hmm.
failed terribly on stage. And I realized, no, I'm just trying to be someone else. I'm trying to copy someone else. Maybe I'm trying to copy these guys,
Yeah.
and I have to really find my voice. And my dad did tell me that. He said, no, you have not found your voice yet. You don't know what you have to say. तुम्हारा टेक क्या है वो अभी तक तुमने ढूंढा ही नहीं.
Hmm.
You're just doing what you think is right,
Hmm.
or whatever people are liking. So it took me time to discover that, and then doing impersonations became my thing. Then I've started working on that, and that I nailed. Then doing characters became my thing. I did a lot of characters in my films also. मैंने भूत पुलिस में हरियाणवी कैरेक्टर हमने नो उत्तराखंड, हाँ, वहाँ का कैरेक्टर हमने वो किया, उसका एक्सेंट पकड़ा। फिर किस-किस को प्यार करूँ में मैंने मराठी एक्सेंट किया। पॉपकॉर्न वेब सीरीज़ में देखेंगे तो उसमें कितनी सारी मिमिक्रीज़ मैंने की है। एंड कपिल शर्मा शो में मैंने गुजराती एक्सेंट किया। सो आई लर्न्ड ऑल दीज़ डिफरेंट एक्सेंट्स, कहीं मैंने साउथ का कुछ किया। सो आई सेड ओके, आई कैन यूज़ दिस
हुँ,
and create new characters. And I used to observe people. I've observed so many people. If you watch my stand-up shows, there are so many different characters that I create. They're real life people. They're my observations.
हुँ।
कोई आंटी को कहीं मैंने सुन लिया बात करते हुए, "आई- आई- आई- मैं तो नहीं ऐसे नहीं बात करती हूँ मैं, वो मैंने पकड़ लिया। यू नो, I've observed my house help. नहीं मैं जहाँ ताई आज मैं नहीं आएंगी, मैं कल करके गई बाथरूम में, नहीं आज नहीं करेगी, वो मैंने पकड़ लिया। सो ऑल दीज रियल लाइफ कैरेक्टर्स मेरी मतलब मैंने बैंक बना लिया है।
हुँ,
सो आई यूज दैट एंड आई
हुँ।
हैव कंप्लीटली फॉरगॉटन व्हाट योर क्वेश्चन इज, बट मैं तो बड़बड़ करती जा रही हूँ।
नहीं कि ज़ोन हम पूछ रहे थे कि
हाँ, सो इट्स
ज़ोन कैसे पकड़ा?
एग्जैक्टली ये
हुँ,
करते 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 आई रियलाइज अरे ये तो मेरे स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं।
हुँ।
एंड देन सिंगिंग, दैट माय डैड रिमाइंडेड मी, सेड यू यूज योर ट्रेनिंग ना।
यू आर सो वर्सेटाइल मतलब वो आप
हाँ,
दर्शाओ जो
ही
आपकी
सेड ये
वर्सेटिलिटी है।
सिंगिंग तो तुमने सीखी है,
हुँ,
इसको डालो, कहीं इसका बनाओ कुछ।
हुँ।
एंड नाउ देयर इज अ होल सेट दैट आई डू ऑन माय स्टैंड अप वेयर it's about if singers had alternate professions.
ओह
जैसे ईला
वाव!
अरुण जी गवर्नमेंट जॉब करने निकली है, पोलियो ड्रॉप्स दे रही है घर घर जाकर, तो वो कैसे बेचेंगी, वो
ओह
कैसे करेंगी? सो
वाव!
इट्स इट्स अब उसमें गायकी है
हुँ,
और उसमें मिमिक्री भी है।
हुँ।
इफ आई एम डूइंग लाइक ईला
दैट्स
so
सो
I go,
इंटरेस्टिंग
yeah,
वैसे।
yeah, so if I'm doing ईला I'll be like, हाय ने घोड़े, हाय जवानी, वो भी कर रही हूँ पर मैं दिल ने सहर मांगा, वो भी कर रही हूँ, गाना भी गा रही हूँ। तो वो है। तो वो सब मैंने अभी लाया है
I
एंड
will never get over Ila Arun selling polio drops. Sorry, I need a moment to.
you have to watch me live, you have to watch me do
Yeah.
it. So वो एक see now we've brought all these different flavors and different characters. So you might call it a different kind of comedy, maybe
Hmm.
not stand up. People might not, some young guys might not consider it as stand up because they feel like नहीं stand up तो ऐसे होता है, खड़े हो
अरे
जोक्स बोलो
कॉमेडी
ये
फनी
करो,
होनी चाहिए,
बस
कुछ भी हो
फनी है।
सकता है।
इंसान अकेले खड़े होके हंसा रहा है बस, और क्या,
Hmm.
कैसे भी करे वो।
Agreed.
सो एंड दिस इज द लीवर घराने की कॉमेडी, तो ये है।
And also you said clean comedy. I
क्लीन,
think somebody kind of insinuated that, maybe you should not do clean comedy because it
yeah,
might not work, but
when
that's something that you didn't agree to do.
yeah, when I worked at the clubs, the manager over there, she was an Indian. It's called the Comedy Store, the
Hmm.
very first one in Mumbai. And she was managing this place. She had just come down from the UK, opened up this place in Mumbai, and she said, no, do some, you know, use some foul language on stage. It's nice when a girl says it. You
Hmm.
should cuss people on stage, just cuss and call people out and do some below the belt comedy. She encouraged me to say use bad language,
Hmm.
and she said, this is what comedy is. It's fun because you have the power, you have the authority of a mic in your hand. You can say anything, and guys love it when a
Hmm.
girl talks like that. Just
What
be
does that
bold.
even
I
mean?
was like, why? And then to add to that, she goes, your dad's a comic, right? Even he will agree with me. And I said, okay, that's it. So I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Maybe you don't come from this country, so you don't know what my dad has been doing. And
Yeah.
his comedy is very clean, it's very different.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm responsible. I have that responsibility of his fans also. I don't want to disappoint them. And at the same time, I'm not just doing this to impress them. Uh, I don't feel like it comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
People can do the whatever they want to do. दूसरे comics कर रहे हैं and it's suiting them.
Hmm.
There is an audience for it.
वो उनका अंदाज होगा ना।
बिल्कुल, और उसकी ऑडियंस है, यंग लोग एन्जॉय करते हैं, ठीक है, वो करते रहें, बट मैं नहीं कर सकती यार,
Hmm.
मुझ पे सूट ही नहीं करता। आई डोंट कस इन रियल लाइफ, आई
Hmm.
डोंट, आई डोंट लाइक इट।
And I don't think you can be good at doing something जो authentically आ नहीं रहा है।
एग्ज़ैक्टली, तो फिर मैं अगेन फिर बनावटी, देन आई एम ट्राइंग टू बी समवन एल्स
Hmm.
एंड आई फील लाइक यू नो अ, व्हाट आई वांट टू डू इज़ व्हाट आई वांटेड टू डू इज़ आई वाज़ लाइक मैं ऐसा कुछ करना चाहती हूँ दैट पीपल कैन वॉच विद देयर फैमिली। I want to perform where, I want my entire family to sit together and watch me do it.
Hmm.
And I don't want somebody to put on their earphones and sit in one kupcha and watch my comedy. No.
Hmm.
Why? Chori chupe kyun dekhoge aap?
Correct.
I want the world to see me. Sit with your grandma and watch me.
Hmm.
Sit with your 2-year-old and watch me.
I will get my nanny to your show.
Yes, yes.
Done.
And I can promise you she'll be entertained
No, no,
because
I know, I know.
there's an 80-year-old who came for my show. There was a teenager who came who pulled her mom along. She dragged her mom for my show. And both of them enjoyed.
I
So
have taken my nanny for a comedy show. I
yeah.
think हम राहुल दुआ का देखने गए थे because
Oh,
I thought
he's
that
great as well.
he's also a family comedian, you know.
Yeah.
So I was
It
like,
just gets a bit awkward when you use foul language and
yeah,
then your parents like then you can't even
yeah.
नजर भी मिला नहीं सकते आप. It's
नानी को
just
तो बड़े मजे आए थे
मजे
उसमें,
आए
तो
थे.
अब मैं नेक्स्ट टाइम
Oh,
आपके
अच्छा.
शो में लेके आऊंगी.
Great.
अच्छा, now Jamie, we have
Yeah.
heard that you are making a Telugu debut. So
Yes.
tell us a little about that.
Yeah. Okay, so I've always wanted to do a Telugu film because we're Telugu people, and I don't know why, but I just felt like मुझे एक तो करनी है life में. So my grandma only speaks Telugu.
Okay.
She knows पिछले 10 साल से ये लड़की काम पे जा रही है, but she has no idea what I'm doing. मैं
Hmm.
क्या dialogue बोल रही हूँ, क्या comedy कर रही हूँ. She cannot understand anything. So I just wanted to kind of give this to her, dedicate it to her कि यार
Same.
एक तो कर लूँ जिसमें she can genuinely enjoy my dialogues or whatever I'm doing my work, and she'll understand it. So that's the one reason. And so I also tried myself कि कहीं to reach out to some casting directors, something to get me work, but did not happen. And then this has just come out of nowhere, this job where apparently the hero, Naresh Garu, he saw my web series Popcorn and he told the director, he's like, can we get this girl to do this role? And the director was like, okay, we don't know who she is. And they did some research only to find out that, okay, she's John Lever's daughter. I was like, okay, this makes sense as to
Hmm.
why she's doing comedy and that's okay, she's so good at what she does. And then फिर धीरे धीरे और कुछ पता चला कि I speak Telugu and they didn't even know I did. So we had a Zoom call and they narrated the story to me and I loved it. Very nice script. It's a family drama. And बहुत अच्छा प्यारा सा रोल है of this. I play a bhabhi to the lead, and very nice fun role and lots of comedy, of course, comedy bharpoor. In fact, they told me one thing. The brief was कि आप face yoga कर आना because you have to your facial expressions we want it to be super animated and like crazy and there's going to be a lot of like expressions so you're going to see ekdam full on Jamie Lever kind of out and out comedy. So yeah,
Excited.
yeah, fun. And also the language was very difficult to learn it because even though we speak Telugu at home, हम लोग तो टूटी फूटी बोलते हैं ना, we mix it with Hindi, English and everything.
Also, like even my Punjabi is like city
Hmm.
Punjabi. It's not
Hmm.
native
हाँ, so
by
it's very
any stretch of
polished.
the imagination. Yeah.
हाँ, तो इफ आई स्पीक तेलुगु ना तो लोगों को लगता है मैं एक्सेंट में बात कर रही हूँ। तो आई हैड टू रियली लर्न द लैंग्वेज
Hmm.
एंड ऑब्वियसली सो मेनी डिफरेंट वर्ड्स आई हैड टू लर्न। काफ़ी लंबे-लंबे डायलॉग्स थे। तो वो सारा किया एंड इट वाज़ आई थिंक द मोस्ट चैलेंजिंग थिंग आई हैव एवर डन। बहुत ही हेक्टिक स्केड्यूल्स थे बट आई फील लाइक द वर्क हैज़ कम आउट सो नाइसली एंड आई एम सीइंग द ट्रेलर एंड आई एम रियली हैप्पी एंड आई कांट वेट फॉर माय फैमिली टू वॉच इट एंड माय
Of
दादी
course.
टू वॉच इट।
I'm sure she'll be very happy to watch
Yeah,
it.
so happy. So it's
It's like
coming
your
out in April.
tribute to her.
Yes, yes, but she has no idea मैंने ये कर दिया है.
Best
So it's a
surprise.
surprise, complete
Surprise
surprise.
दे
Yeah,
दो.
yeah, yeah.
अच्छा, इतना कुछ चल रहा है, मूवी भी आ रही है,
हाँ,
शोज भी चल रहे
yeah,
हैं, कॉमेडी तो चलता ही रहता
yeah,
है इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट्स. व्हाट
yes.
डज जेमी डू टू अनवाइंड आफ्टर अस?
Weirdly, I watch true crime.
Same.
I don't know why I do that. And I watch a whole lot of reality shows.
Oh my god, have you seen Love is Blind का new season?
Oh, yes, of course. जैसे सारे episodes आ गए, I have like watched, I've marathoned it and also I waited desperately for the reunion to happen. I watch a lot of reality shows, maybe because वो जो characters हैं ना मुझे बहुत fascinate करते हैं. All these
सेम
different people.
सेम.
या तो I love it and anything हाँ कुछ भी random मुझे Big Boss बहुत पसंद है और random वो जो वो relationship वाले reality shows होते
मैं तो
those.
स्प्लिट्सविला भी देखती थी.
हाँ, मैं भी देखती थी एंड
हाँ.
नहीं रोडीज़ मैंने देखना बंद कर दिया।
हाँ, वो मैंने
एक
स्प्लिट्सविला भी
फ़ेज़ था।
2-3 साल से नहीं देखा है,
हाँ,
बट उससे पहले मैं बहुत डिलिजेंटली देखती थी.
हाँ,
आई वाज़ लाइक दिस इज़ टू fascinating. I
या
will never meet these people in my real life.
yeah, and a lot of these real housewives of whatever Atlanta, New York, Los Angeles, everything. Even those वो selling homes वाले shows ना,
Selling
selling
Sunset. Yeah.
sunset, all the reality
Oh
shows I
wow.
watch वो उसके लिए मैं डस्टबिन हूँ, मैं तो लेती रहती हूँ एंड देन yes, true crime. Don't know why. And then I get really scared also उसके बाद
You
मतलब
saw the
मुझे
last इंद्रानी
I
documentary?
did.
मैंने रिसेंटली वो भी देखा, बैड सर्जन. वो भी
Okay.
मुझे बहुत
वो
ही.
भी देखना है, it's on
हाँ,
my list of things to
बैड
watch.
सर्जन एंड द गुड नर्स.
The Good Nurse, yeah, I've
हाँ,
seen that.
हाँ,
But yeah, I like all of this. I like
सेम.
documentaries, true crime documentaries, detective shows. पता नहीं, बहुत ही ऑपोज़िट टू माय जॉब, माय प्रोफ़ेशन, आई डोंट लाइक वाचिंग कॉमेडी अ लॉट।
अरे बट यू डू इट ऑल द टाइम, तो
एग्ज़ैक्टली।
शायद इसलिए यू डोंट वांट टू कंज्यूम इट आल्सो
बट
ना?
पीपल आर लाइक नहीं, यू शुड वॉच इट, इट्स लाइक स्टडी एंड यू गेट इंस्पायर्ड, एंड आई एम लाइक नहीं, बहुत हो गया है
नहीं,
यार अभी।
इतने साल से तो कर ही रहे हैं तो
हाँ,
अब
तो खुद को डरा लेती हूँ मैं थोड़ा-सा सोने से पहले, और फिर मुझे रात को नींद भी नहीं आती बिकॉज़ आई एम पेट्रिफाइड कि यहाँ से हाथ निकलेगा या मुझे कोई किडनैप कर लेगा, वो सब भी होता है, बट खैर दिस इज़ माय एंटरटेनमेंट।
yeah, same. But I also watch a lot of true crime and I watch a lot of reality TV, and it's
हाँ,
absolute garbage, I
एब्सोल्यूट
admit,
गार्बेज, यस,
but it's okay. It's very entertaining.
यस, वेरी, वेरी।
Acha, so before we let you go, Jamie, we are going to obviously, as you may have anticipated, going to ask you to do the Jamie ka jalwa. We're
Woohoo!
going to give you situations and we'll ask you
Okay.
to react as those specific people.
Woo!
Okay.
Let's go.
So react as Asha Bhosle ji. If someone said, "Ma'am, what do you have to say about these young kids making all these remixes of your songs?"
देखो, आजकल के बच्चे क्या-क्या कर रहे हैं मुझे बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आता। हमारे ज़माने में किशोरदा, बर्मन साहब, दीदी, हम रिकॉर्डिंग करते थे, बड़ा मज़ा आता था। आजकल क्या हो रहा है, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा। ख़ैर, यही है, जो है।
Brilliant. Farah Khan, if someone spilled coffee on her new Gucci bag.
ओह गाइस, कुछ भी तुम लोग कर रहे हो, एक तो मेरे पास गुची बैग है नहीं, ये मुझे करण ने गलती से मुझे गिफ्ट दे दिया गुची बैग। मेरे पास कभी गुची बैग था नहीं, अब लो तुमने उस पे भी कॉफ़ी गिरा दिया यार, करण मुझे डाँटेगा। सो आई विल आस्क हिम नाउ, प्रोबब्ली गिव मी अनदर वन, सो आई डोंट माइंड। या बस, या गाइस डोंट डू दिस यार, प्लीज़। गिराना है तो कुछ बिरयानी गिराओ, मेरे लैप पे गिराओ, ताकि मैं खा लूँ बिरयानी।
Okay, if somebody told Kangana कि Fighter was a great movie.
देखिए, फाइटर अच्छी फ़िल्म तो होगी ही, लेकिन फाइटर तो मैं हूँ। बात तो यही है। हाँ, फाइटर तो मैं हूँ, तो अगर आप फाइट करना चाहते हैं तो मेरे पास आइए, मैं मीडिया के सामने आपके साथ फाइट करूँगी, ठीक है? क्योंकि आउटसाइडर इनसाइडर की जब फाइट होगी तो बहुत मज़ा आएगा।
Okay, fab. And if somebody asked Rakhi Sawant about her dating life, कि राखी जी क्या चल रहा है आपकी dating life में?
ओह माय गॉड मीडिया! मेरे लाइफ में मेरा हस्बैंड छीन लिया, मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड छीन लिया, मेरे पास कोई बचा ही नहीं है मीडिया, मेरे पास कोई नहीं, मैं अकेली अबला नारी, मैं तबला बजा रही हूँ। मुझे हस्बैंड की ज़रूरत नहीं है, मुझे पैसों की ज़रूरत है। अब मैं काम करूँगी, मैं जिम जाऊँगी, मैं वर्कआउट्स करूँगी ताकि मैं और गानों पर डांस कर सकूँ।
Unbelievable. And as Jamie react to when people like me ask you to do mimicry all the time.
मैं कर लूँगी, क्या है, मेरा दुकान चलानी है मुझे, काम करना है तो आप करने बोलोगे तो करूँगी भाई, सब कुछ अलाउड
Oh, thank you,
है।
Jamie. It was a pleasure.
थैंक
Lovely
यू।
seeing you, and I will see you at your show in Delhi.
Excellent. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for having me. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Likewise.